Over the past 30 years, pop culture has slowly redirected women's purpose. The subconscious pull towards family, partnership, and motherhood quietly replaced. Replaced with careers, independence, and the endless pursuit of self. From sitcoms to iconic dramas, the message has been consistent. Shows like HBO Girls, Scandal, and Sex and the City are the most influential. Even more damning, modern online content, podcasts like Call Her Daddy, didn't just inherit that message. They packaged it, monetized it, and handed it to a whole new generation.
If you have some friends that are prudes that are like, you should never kiss on the first date. You're going to give them the wrong impression and they're just going to think you're a whore. Okay, maybe for you, Cassandra, but I'm about to let him in my back door all night.
A woman doesn't need a husband. She just needs a closet full of shoes and her 4 best friends who never let her down.
I spent $40,000 on shoes and I have no place to live?
So initially coming up with the idea of this episode, I wanted to be a little bit more broader. Wanted to talk about different shows and, the social media or the podcast content that's out there for women. But as I was doing my research on Sex and the City, come to find out this is the perfect TV series that encapsulates everything that's wrong with modern women. It actually spans 27 years. So we were seeing these characters from their early 30s, from 98 all the way to their 50s, and how we're seeing the exact same thing play out in modern society. And what's the message that this show is actually trying to sell you? So I will come back to the female dynamic with more of a the podcast and YouTube and social media content, but I think for just how I've done my research, I think this is going to be a good direction that I want to go in. So, during Sex and the City's debut in '98, it came off as liberating, and for a while it was sold that way. But somewhere between the brunches and the breakups, an entire generation of women were taught that you could have it all: ambition and family, with zero drawbacks.
If I had the guy in high school, what have I been doing for the past 20 years?
Why did you two break up?
I broke up because I thought, come on, there must be better guys out there. Turns out, what? There aren't.
That you could chase your career now, and the man, the marriage, the family would still be there waiting whenever you were ready. This is the slow erosion of what once was promised, not through force, through entertainment, through aspiration, and cultural promotion, from a show that's impacted a generation of young women. As we did this for a previous episode from the male perspective, we are now taking a dive into female perspective of what culture has done. I play the same exact scene in my Slow Erosions of Man, yet I think it's pertinent to show the polarity in this clip I've used.
Hi, Steve. I really love to get flowers from a man. I'm sure all women do. I'm trying to get some from my man now. He's not very well at that. So I'm wondering.
How long have you been dating?
Just a couple of months.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just wondering, maybe if I send him a nice orchid or some flowers to him, maybe he would get the hint to send me some flowers.
No.
No?
Don't even waste your money. Guys don't get hints like that. We get a flower, we're not even really gonna appreciate it. Don't even send a man a flower. We don't even know how to act when we get the flower. We get a flower, hey, flower, hey. A football, yeah, a flower, we don't even know what to do with that. Every one of you, when you first meet a man, you're gonna get asked this question by the man. So tell me what you like. You've all heard this question. Every guy asks you that. So what you do is say stuff like, I like a guy that's on time. You're gonna set your standards and your requirements, but you're gonna trick him because he's stupid and he's just gonna think you're answering him. So you say, well, look, I like a guy that's on time. I like a guy that's courteous. I like a guy who texts me, who stays in touch with me. I like a guy that's a one-woman man. I like a guy who's practiced chivalry. Say all that stuff. Then you slide in one little thing, and I love flowers. Stop trying to figure out how to get something. What you really want is how you want the man to treat you a certain way. So don't worry about that. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I would do.
In this female perspective, we must take a look at who the content is directed to. The majority, if not all of the stand-in audience, is female. Steve Harvey isn't damaging the male identity because what he's saying may have some truth. He's doing it because it works, because attention sells, and women love hearing what makes them feel good. Young girls and women have been lied to by culture. Women have been sold a dream that they could chase whatever they want with zero drawbacks. Sex and the City encapsulate this perfectly. Airing from the late 90s through the 2000s, gaining 7 Emmys and 8 Golden Globes, even the later movies and spin-off series showcase exactly what's going wrong with modern women today. Sex and the City follows 4 fiercely independent best friends in New York City, a relationship columnist, a clinical lawyer, an idealistic art dealer, and a liberal PR executive. The story navigates the highs and lows of modern romance, career ambitions, and deep, lifelong female friendships. 4 women, 1 promise, that friendship, not family, not a husband, would be the thing that saves you. Were there any 90s shows or series or even movies, not even need to say movies, but just mainly TV shows, that showcased the power of a masculine brotherhood and promoted it? No, there wasn't. Women were given optionality, while men were given isolation. Sex and the City wasn't just about dating in New York. It was a cultural reset for women's priorities. 4 women in their 30s, 0 husbands, 0 kids, but infinite ambition, infinite friends, and infinite shoes.
I couldn't believe it. 15 years in New York, and just when the city was getting safe, I was getting mugged.
And your Manola Blahniks.
What? No! I've been robbed!
The show's real message wasn't you can have it all. It was you don't need traditional things. Career first, friends second, romance is entertainment, family never really on the menu. The original Sex and the City series ends with Carrie, the main protagonist, and Big, the romantic interest throughout the whole series, finally getting together for real. Though they go through this backwards and forwards throughout the whole series, with breaking up 15, I don't know how many times. But by the final episode, Big comes through, he commits, and they're together. But here's the thing, the show doesn't end with them getting married or having a family, it ends with them as a couple. But the framing is still ambiguous. The real emotional resolution is Carrie with her 3 best friends. That's the final image, that's what matters. So the show sets up Big as the prize, but even when she wins him, the victory lap is walking through New York City with the girls. Friendship is what actually completes her story. Because the show never actually resolved anything on the family and partnership front, it just felt open. Open enough that it could keep extending the narrative, keeping her in the chase. Sex and the City, the movie, was already in development before the show had ended, and we pick up right where we left off. The wedding. The wedding became an obsession. Carrie fixated on every detail, the dress, the venue, the spectacle. But notice what's missing from all that planning? The man she's actually marrying. He's not actually a part of this story. He's a supporting character in her wedding fantasy. And then when he realizes he's not marrying a woman who wants a life with him, but a woman that wants the perfect wedding, he tries to leave.
Hello?
Are you okay?
I've been calling you for an hour. Why haven't you been answering your phone?
Because I don't know where my phone is. So what's going on? Where are you?
I was out front. I just left. I can't do this.
Oh my God.
That's not romantic tragedy. That's a warning. Women have been sold that the wedding is the goal. The ceremony is the climax. Marriage is just what comes after. And even after Big leaves her at the altar, even after the relationship implodes, the movie doesn't pivot to fix that. It doesn't show Carrie rebuilding her relationship with Big, learning to trust him again, doing actual work from a partnership. Instead, the entire second half of the movie is about her friends. The girls rally around her, the sisterhood building her back up. They're the ones that matter.
Honey, you have to eat a little breakfast.
And then, at the very end, Big reappears with the apologies. Apparently, he's been emailing Carrie this whole time. They end up marrying at City Hall, a soft resolution. But notice what the story actually cared about. Not the relationship, the friendships. The wedding wasn't the problem. The marriage was always secondary.
And in the end, Carrie Bradshaw married John James Preston in a labelless dress.
I do.
By the power vested in me by the state of New York, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
You and me, like I said.
Still, it would have been nice if you had the girls here. Which is why I called.
Sex and the City 2 opens with the same four women in their late 40s, supposedly living their dream lives. Carrie's married to Big, but the marriage feels hollow. She's restless, bored, and searching for something more. Miranda, a successful lawyer, but her marriage is fractured. She's disconnected from her life, her husband, and any real fulfillment. Charlotte has everything: the wealthy husband, the beautiful children, the perfect home, but it's suffocating her. How being a mother and a stay-at-home wife is perceived in this context. And Samantha's terrified. She's aging, losing her relevance, desperate to prove she's still young and desirable. So what's the solution? Not actually fixing their relationships or their lives. The solution is a girl's trip to Abu Dhabi.
Happens after you say I do.
An escape, excitement, distraction, just being fabulous with their best friends. And that's the message. Your marriage won't fix you, your kids won't fulfill you, your career won't satisfy you. Only your girls can do that. But then, in Abu Dhabi, Carrie meets a man. He's charming, interesting, and he's everything Big isn't. Being in that moment, and for a second, she considers it. She almost cheats. But she doesn't. She chooses her marriage, she chooses Big. And you think that's the moment where the movie says, see, marriage matters. But it doesn't. By choosing Big, she's not choosing fulfillment, she's choosing an obligation. She's choosing the safe choice. The real fulfillment, the real excitement in the entire movie, it's with her friends. We fast forward 11 years to the 2021 spin-off series, and just like that, the same characters, now in their mid-50s, opens with this shocking moment. Big dies, suddenly, in the very first episode, thrusting Carrie into grief and widowhood. But here's what's important to understand. This wasn't accidental. All the men in Sex and the City were deliberately flawed. Big was emotionally unavailable, inconsistent, and unreliable. And that was the point. From the very beginning, audiences hated him. Fan forums were full of people saying get away from Big, but the show kept him there anyway, because a reliable, present man would have ended the story. A man showed up, committed, built something with her. That doesn't sell a narrative about needing your girls above all else. The men had to be broken. The relationship had to be unstable. Because the real love story never was about between Carrie and Big. It was between Carrie and her friends. The men were designed to fail so the sisterhood could be the positive is the only thing worth investing. That's not a reflection of reality. That's a business model. But here's the clever bit. It used this strategy to reset the character. She's no longer defined by her relationship, her marriage, or waiting on a man. Instead, the show becomes more about her rediscovering herself as a single woman in her 50s, exploring dating again, navigating friendships that have evolved over those 11 years, and figuring out who she is. And just like that, concludes the 27-year journey of Carrie Bradshaw. She spent an entire series chasing something. A man, a marriage, a life. And by the end, Big is dead. There's no romantic partner. There's no family. Instead, very final image is Carrie alone in her apartment, looking in the mirror. She's finished her novel. She's reflecting on her friendship. And she comes to the realization
The woman realized she was not alone. She was on her own.
there's a distinction here. Being alone isn't sad anymore. It's a victory lap. After 27 years, the show's message is finally complete. Women don't need husbands. They don't need families. They need to optimize themselves, build careers, keep their friendships, and content with solitude. That was always the blueprint, and now it's the end. And for a generation of women who have watched it, it's become a subconscious influence on modern women. Not a suggestion, a directive. Sex and the City didn't just entertain, it reshaped priorities. From 1998 to 2025, 27 years, the show was renewed, extended, rebooted because it worked, and it was profitable. The franchise generated an estimated $1.5 to $2 billion across its lifetime. That's not an accident, that's a business model. Culture didn't accidentally redirect women away from family and motherhood. It was engineered, sold, monetized, and renewed every time viewership proved women consumed it. Where are all the mothers? They're still consuming the very content that taught them that motherhood and family wasn't the goal in the first place.
Okay, you call this the hot husband fetish.
Yes.
Which is essentially when you want your partner to have sexual experiences with other people outside of the relationship.
Yeah.
So when did this start for you, Nikki? Let's go
This
back.
started with my boyfriend when I was 29.